Hey everybody, this is Sheets, and we're going to be going over the UFC card for this coming weekend, and we're going to look at it from a DFS perspective. There are some really important concepts that come into play on this card, and we're going to highlight those as we get to them. Yeah, we're probably going to do a lineup construction video as well, probably tomorrow, where we get more into how to specifically attack the 150 max, big lottery GPP trying to win 100,000, etc. But we're gonna go through fight by fight and just kind of highlight which fights rate to produce the best plays in general. We'll talk about a little bit of leverage, and you're going to hear some kind of, I don't want to say weird takes, but I don't think they're weird at all. I think they're very, very pure with respect to how to analyze DFS. Anyway, now let's just get started. The first fight of the night, by the way, 13 fights, only one 5 round fight, and that particular 5 round fight is not a lock. So once again, it's a very, very nice card to attempt to win that big GPP without getting too crazy. You might be able to do it by yourself with a reasonable lineup, which is a very, very difficult. It's a difficult state of being to be able to win the big lottery by yourself with a lineup that has an actual chance to win. But I think this week kind of fits that bill. And we'll talk a little bit about that now, but probably save a little bit of that for the lineup construction video. Anyway, Talita Alencar versus Vanessa Demopoulos, a mid-range fight, which always has to generate some interest because it just makes your lineups build just so much better. If you play this fight, you don't end up having to play like all these 73, $7,200 punts if you can play this 8,000 fight. So even though it doesn't rate to have too much upside, it is one that you have to kind of give a little bit of love. I mean, you look at the inside the distance line; they're both really poor. Alencar and Demopoulos both like 750 inside. So the reason why you play it has certainly nothing to do with their ceilings, but their pricing looks pretty good. And the other thing I would say is that Alencar does have some wrestling upside. Okay, so if in fact she wins a decision, it's possible that she can score decently. I will say, I mean, she won a decision with a takedown before with 4 minutes of control time and scored nothing. So I think in general the fight is probably a fade in 20 max and you know uh, big buy-ins. It just doesn't look like it has too much upside. And there are other fights that are, I don't want to say exactly this price, but close to this price that do carry a little more upside. I would say that given the choice between these two in DFS, probably Alan Carr, just because she does have a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of wrestling. I mean, then again, no, I mean, Demopoulos does have a first round sub, like 7 fights ago. I don't know. Just feels like a fade. All right, moving on. We have Pedro Falco. Is that his name? Yeah, Pedro Falcao versus Victor Henry. Um, I do think this is probably going to be one of the more popular underdogs, and I think probably for good reason. Falco, his last fight, he came off of what 3 days notice, and he was not that bad against Victor Hugo, but even so, I mean, it's not like he was a big underdog in that fight. He still was 8K, so it's not this incredible performance that he lost, you know. So I don't know. I guess the narrative is, 3 days notice, he looks pretty good, or he doesn't look bad. Imagine him on a full camp, sure. Victor Henry is a little bit older, but I don't know. I really have no opinion on this particular fight. I think Pedro, I guess that narrative makes some sense, but narratives are usually not my friend. Anyway, let's look at the inside the distance line. Victor Henry inside the distance, probably not so great. plus 600. I mean, this is really not the fight that you really want to target either. You could argue that, I mean, either of these guys to have takedown upside, but I don't know. It feels like a fight where they just kind of, I don't know, they're wrestling and grappling kind of offset, turns into a striking battle of some kind, and I don't know. It feels like a fade. That's the best I can say it. All right, Stella Nunez versus Luma Lukbumi. So Luma Lukbumi is minus 700. Stella Nunez is plus 500. So you have Lukbumi is probably going to win this fight about 80% of the time or so, and Nunez is going to win the fight 20% of the time. But the thing is that Nunez, all she really has going for her in this fight is that she's got a lot of power and a really big first round in her. Her big problem, among other things, is that she gasses out. So the point is that if she's going to win this fight 15 to 20% of the time, it's probably going to be in the first round. So if that's the case, you probably want to play her in DFS. She's going to be about what, 6% owned, maybe 8 or something like that. I mean, who's playing her? And the fact is that although she doesn't win too often, when she does win, I imagine that she's going to score really well and break the slate. So I know we said we wouldn't talk too much about DFS here. I mean, it's about leverage and lineup construction, but I mean, to me, this seems like an easy play. You play Nunez, you hope that she wins, and if she does win, it's first round knockout probably, and the slate is broken, and you now have a 7%, 8% owned fighter, and now you're styling. And the good thing is, if you do play 150, I mean, you don't have to play that much of her to get above the field. I mean, you even play like 15%, maybe not even. You can get above the field here. So I think she's a very, very, actually a pretty pure DFS type play when you consider ownership and things like that. Luma Lukbumi, on the other hand, she, at her price, she needs to perform. She's 9,500. And 9,500, she's going to need to have a finish, and it's got to be like a first round finish, isn't it? I mean, she's not a huge grappler or anything like that. So what's she going to do here? Her inside the distance line is like plus 200. I mean, how exactly is she going to cover her price tag? I don't see it. So if anything from here, I definitely think the Nunez side makes the most sense. And this is actually so far my favorite play. Again, is it going to win? No, probably not. But the 15 to 18% of the time it does win. I mean, it's really just extraordinarily strong. Now, I would love for Lukbumi to be more popular, so then you get the triple banger and you get the leverage as well. But even still, I mean, I think her path to victory is just very, very DFS friendly. And although it doesn't happen too often, I think when it does, it's worth the risk. All right. Reese McKee versus Daniel Frunza. This is actually going to be a pretty popular underdog, I think. I think Reese McKee has been, given quite the break despite losing 4 fights in a row. The public is saying, and I think quite reasonably, that look, he had no chance against Shemaev. But I mean, is this that great a performance, losing to Angelusa and Chidi and Jaquani? I mean, this is not that great. I don't know what's so terrific about these losses, honestly. Losing to Alex Morono, he's terrible. I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of a sucker underdog. I really probably don't want any part of it. This Daniel Frunza with no record here. I mean, if anything, I probably prefer him just for the, again, for the mystery. Let's take a look at his inside the distance line. Frunza inside plus 160. That's pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable for an $8,600 fighter. It's not the greatest, but I can't imagine anybody's going to play Frunza with any degree of confidence. So you get a 15-ish% owned guy who's got to have something to have a plus 160 inside the distance line, right? I mean, what does he got? Let's go back a little bit. Italy. Nobody likes to play guys from Italy. Yeah, look at this in the In the LFA, he's got some KOs. I mean, that's all this guy has is KOs. I don't know what the problem with him is. So I think this is probably a pretty decent play. It's tough because Reese McKee is tough, and uh, it makes sense what people are saying, but I don't know. I'm not particularly impressed with his good losses. I don't think they were that great. Anyway, so anything friends is pretty reasonable. So we're coming out of the gate with some two pretty fishy plays, to say the least. Um, Now let's go to Deanne Barbosa versus Diana Belbita. So I think, again, I don't want to say it the wrong way, but this is just a lock. I think Barbosa is just light years better than Belbita, who might not even want to fight anymore. And Barbosa has a future. I think Barbosa is going to come right out and just destroy her. I think she's going to get her takedowns. She's got a takedown as Miranda Maverick. You know what I mean? Like, I think that this is kind of a joke, and it's just a question of how much she's going to score. And I can't imagine her inside the distance line being that great. But when I looked at it, I was expecting to be like plus 200 or something like that. But she is minus 130. I mean, for a woman fighter, how often do you see that? And plus the fact that she can that Belbita's got some of the worst takedown defense there is. I mean, this seems like an uber smash spot for Barbosa. And at 9,400, I'd love to find a way to play her. And listen, this is it's ladies' night. You get the Nunez Barbosa combination going. Now you're in business. Okay. Okay. And I'm not playing any Linus Belbita. Davy Grant against Willie Cat Santos. This is going to be the other, as shout out to MMA Magic, going to be called the hipster underdog of the week. So far in the content that I've watched, I can't not found a person that has taken Santos, despite the fact that Davy Grant is an underdog here. So if you want to be contrarian, you'll just go ahead and play Willie Cat here at 8,500. But let's take a look at the inside the distance lines here, because it's not as if you're going to have a lot of wrestling or anything like that. It's going to be kind of a slugfest, I think. But I mean, this is not bad. I mean, you have Santos inside is plus 200. I don't want to play Davy Grant with his inside the distance line like this. Get that. So I think Santos at plus 200. It's not quite as good as Frunza, but I think it's reasonable. I'll tell you this: the Santos play is definitely going to be low owned. I think both these guys, Frunza. What kind of lineup is this? Who are these people? Play Willie Cat against Davy Grant, women's fighter 9,400. Whoever this Frunza character is against a guy who's everybody's loving this week. I don't know about this, but this is what I'm liking right now. Okay, you have Louis Garule versus Ode Osborne. Garule's 10-0, 5-0, last five. And you have Ode Osborne with 3 straight losses. I don't know. He's busy. I mean, Osborne's been around the block, and he's not, is he that bad? He's got a win. He's got a couple of wins. This against Charles Johnson. I don't know. Let's take a look at the inside the distance line. Let's see this Garule character. I mean, it's not as if he has an incredible amount of takedown upside. I mean, he does a little bit of everything. It worries me that Ode Osborne just doesn't mind getting taken down, which is a little frustrating. But I don't know. Garule inside plus 200. Osborne, I don't know. Osborne plus 300 or so inside the distance. Actually, it's not quite that. It's more like plus 320. But yet still, at 7,300, it's a tough click, right? I mean, it just seems like Garule is the side. He's coming into the UFC. Let's take a look at all these. Just nothing but dubs. A little bit too decision-y for me, I guess. Actually, that's not true. KO, KO, KO. I just feel as though 8,900 for him. I think I just need a little bit more of an inside the distance line here than plus 200. So this is probably a fade, maybe an Osborne punt. That would be amazing if you can get away with that. Boy, oh boy, to get away with an Osborne play, boy. I think it's reasonable. I really do. And I think Garula is just kind of a play. I think he's gonna he wins, he'll win a decision, he'll score 85 or whatever, and you're not gonna be happy about it. All right. Now we get to the meat and potatoes here, I suppose. You have Tori. I was about to say Dorian Finney-Smith. You have Torres Finney against Robert Valentine, and I have to say, I think that you should be probably playing 100% of this fight. I think this is a very clear and classic DFS thing to do. You have on the one hand Finney, who is very aggressive, and he's very aggressive with his takedowns. I mean, he's made in some of his fights in the Contender Series or whatever, he had like 10 takedowns in one. I mean, the guy is a machine. So in his wins, I mean, you're just going to get a ton of points, whether it leads to a finish or even if 3 rounds of a million takedowns. I mean, in his wins, it's going to score really well. And the thing is that because we haven't really come up with anybody like this, with the exception of maybe Barbosa, he's going to be really popular. So you really should play the Valentine side as well. I mean, how many times have we seen this? These undefeated guys come in and just kind of gas or whatever. And Valentine can be tricky. He's got jujitsu. He has reversal in his last fight. I mean, I could totally see Finney kind of running out of gas and giving up a submission or something like that. And here you're going to get that leverage from Valentine. Um, let's take a look at the inside the distance lines just for the hell of it. I don't even think I mean, Finney's going to have that great of inside the distance line. Yeah, I mean, boy, it's actually even not bad. It's minus 105 plus the takedowns. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, he's going to look like I mean, is it the best play on the slate? I mean, it's close. I mean, it's certainly make the case. But even Valentine inside plus 300. I mean, this is what I think this is really forced. If you're going to play GPPs, I think you have to play both sides of this. I find it difficult to believe that the winner of this is not either in the optimal or in or makes the most money. Let's put it that way. I think that Valentine, if he wins, is going to get all the leverage over Finney. And I think he gets the finish, by the way, if in fact he does win. So I do like this fight quite a bit um, to play both sides. Okay, moving on. You have Brad Tavares versus Gerald Mearshart. Um, I mean, what can you say about Gerald Mearshart? All the guy does is perform. I mean, the guy just puts up subs like all day long, and I don't know what else to say. He does as the underdog, never gives up, and he's in the optimal. I mean, you just have to keep playing this guy, don't you? And it's not as if he's plus 400; he's plus 200. I mean, I don't know. I think this is the one. This is the easiest punt of the day, and I can't imagine why it wouldn't be popular. Honestly, now, how many times the guy got to do it? And it looks like he lost. Okay, lost to a freaking incredible grappler. Okay, and here he lost to Petrosky, laid on top of him, and okay, he's not going to be Pfeiffer, but how many times you got to do this? Get these subs and make it work. So I think he's clearly the play here, and I have no interest in Tavares. And all the guy does is make decisions, and he's 9,100. All right, you have Martin Budai against Kendi and Jeku. Uh, I can't imagine Kennedy not being a good play here. I mean, inside the distance is about pick 'em. All right, so maybe I would prefer him to have a little better inside the distance line. That seems reasonable. Um, yeah, okay. So he's not going to be as good of a play as what's his name, as Finney, but he's certainly going to be good, right? They have the same inside the distance line. Finney's got better takedown upside, and he's 9K. So Finney's going to be a better play, but Njoku is certainly reasonable at 9,200. And Martin Budai, I mean, I just can't do it. Well, sorry I broke off there, but Martin Budai, I mean, I can't imagine playing him. I mean, let's see, inside plus 500. No thanks. So now we get to the last three fights, and this first fight, I think, first of the last three, I think this is a pretty clear play here. Ramius, he 7,800, and he's got pretty much all the takedown upside. Um, I'm going to be worried about, I guess I'm being too popular, but for the purposes of this video, I think it is pretty clear that he's the best kind of mid-range underdog on the board. Money line value, not really, but again, he's just got all the grappling. And this other guy he's fighting has given up some takedowns, so I can't imagine not playing him in most big buy-ins. All right, so this next fight, Joe Anderson Brito versus Pat Sabatini. This is another one where I think you have to play both sides. I think you probably have to lock this one in. I can't imagine the winner of this fight not scoring a ton. Brito, I imagine his inside the distance line is probably, I guess, minus 150, but we'll take a look at it. Uh, yep. Well, actually not, because his win odds aren't even that great, but minus 130 inside the distance at 8,700. That's, you just have to play that. And Sabatini, all the guy's going to do is go for takedowns. It's going to be tough for him to hold Brito down or whatever, but that's not the point. The point is, if in fact he wins, it's going to be because he was able to hold him down for 3 rounds. And you get 3 rounds of Pat Sabatini at 7,500, you just want it. I mean, he's going to score a ton. So this, alongside of that, uh, the Finney fight, I think these are the two fights you really need to lock in. Uh, the main event, not so much. I mean, I'm not to say that this fight can't score, but as usual, the 5 round fights are going to be really popular, and it's not like they have to deliver. Like Lerone Murphy could win a decision where he scores only like 95 or 100 points. I mean, he's shown really good fight IQ, so it's it's not as if he's not going to get into a slugfest with Josh Emmett. I mean, he's going to stick and move, use his speed, maybe go for a takedown or two, and that's the real way I think he scores. If he, I don't know, if he mixes takedowns in along with his sticking and moving. So I'm not saying he's not playable. He's certainly a good play here, but it's not as though you have to play him. Emmett, sure. I mean, if he wins, it's going to be because he gets a knockout. So in a weird way, it's very similar to Nunez, except that Emmett obviously has a much better chance of actually winning. It's like plus 300 as opposed to Nunez is plus like 500. But you think about it, it is sort of the same play, right? I don't think that either of them. I think that in their wins, they both score pretty much the same, except Emmett's going to be like 25% owned, and Nunez is going to be 8. So, and of course, Nunez doesn't win as often. But uh, I didn't have on my bingo card comparing Estelle Nunez to Josh Emmett this week, but I think that's the story. That's pretty much it. I think that again, the Brito Sabatini fight, as well as the um, uh, Finney fight are the key fights you have to play. And then obviously good underdogs will be Mearshart, Ramius, very, very good underdogs there. Then if you want to get a little bit snappy, you could play that Stella Nunez play. What else? I mean, Njoku is not terrible. Oh, and Barbosa. I mean, obviously you want to play her if you can. All right, that's going to do it. I'm going to do a lineup construction video probably tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. Good luck, everybody.